Hey, this is Blake Moynes from season 16 of The Bachelorette, and you're watching the Bros Ceremony.
This is the Bros Ceremony,
Your journey's about to begin.
recapping the week that was in Bachelor Nation and previewing what's to come in the next episode with some special betting odds.
Everyone can't wait to find out what happens next week.
Here are your hosts, Michael the Hound Dog Harrison and Adam Scully.
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Love is an adventure. Welcome to episode 7 right here on the Bros Ceremony podcast. Adam Scully alongside Michael the Hound Dog Harrison. And Michael, I'm trying these new openers now. I'm taking a line from...
I noticed.
What do you think? Love really is an adventure, isn't it?
Well, I thought you were going to maybe say what Matt said again in this episode. I'm 10 toes deep or whatever. I think he said that last time. Just keep leaning in on that one because, again, that's an expression I understand it, of course, but I've literally never heard that one in my entire life, and it's a bit weird if I'm honest.
Thank you for being honest, first of all. Yeah, I hadn't heard of it as well, but Matt James, a lot of positive reaction from Matt James and a lot of positive reaction from our subscribers and followers on social media to us. We're getting some ludicrous numbers right now on our social media channels. So many people are fans of The Bachelor, and we have a lot of exciting things coming up in upcoming episodes. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll have some special guests, and who knows, maybe some more Bachelor juicy talk every Monday. We're very excited that episode 3 of this season of The Bachelor, of Matt James' hallmark 25th season of The Bachelor, gets going tonight. But let's, Michael, look back at last week's episode. And it started off with, we're both golf fans. They're on the golf course, Nemacolin. And was that a John Daly statue right off the hop? I think it was.
Someone else sent me that picture and said, hey, look, it's John Daly. And then they were like, is it actually John Daly or whatever? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it probably is not. But, oh, my God, I hope. And it definitely, seeing, them golfing in Hawaii this past weekend, it's just like, oh, my God, I need to go golfing so badly. It didn't get to me too much the first month or so without it, but now it's been a couple months in. Yeah, I'm seeing those golf course shots. I just honestly, just give me the golf. No Bachelor. Just give me some golf stuff, and I'd be very happy.
Well, there was actually a golf date. This would have been 5 or 6 years ago on Caitlin Bristow's season, where there was a golf date with, I can't remember who she actually ended up with, but it was a guy with blonde hair. They ended up actually being engaged. But obviously that didn't last because, some things just don't last. But coming back to this episode, things started off. Bree got the first date and Matt and Bree went on an ATV. Michael, have you been on an ATV before?
I have not. I would be terrified to be on one, to be honest with you. Like, and I'd be with somebody else. Like, oh my God, like, I couldn't even trust myself. I told you last episode, I think it was, I don't even trust myself to cut this hair. So to trust myself to be on an ATV with someone else with their life in my hands, God.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned your hair because we posted a little snippet of our preamble before we actually started recording of you trying to doll up your hair. And I mean, the reaction we got on social media, like it almost blew it up. So the mop, the salad is looking good. If we can maybe get a little product in there, it'll just elevate things to the next level.
I almost feel like no product, just leaning into this even more is almost better. Just making it as ridiculous as possible. But yeah, you probably are right.
Well, I guess we will see. Now, I mentioned the ATV. So Matt and Bree are on the ATV. They're sort of following each other around. Of course, the way they are in a bubble, the ladies are all sort of watching them. It's all kind of strange. So they're following each other around. And then Matt says, do you trust me? And she says, yes. And they go on the same ATV. And then Matt decides to start showing off. There's a couple donuts and screen goes black. I was like, oh my God.
Come on. You didn't literally do that.
I did.
Adam. You actually thought like the bye-bye and a good
I
night
didn't think
for
they
them?
were dead. I didn't think they were dead. But if you flip an ATV like that, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's not good. It's not good, obviously. Yeah.
No. So, and after he apologized to Bree's mom, who he hasn't met yet, obviously, but, a bit of the date got off to a rough start, and that was until they go to the hot tub and Matt takes his shirt off. And we see some slow motion shots, chopping wood, and Bree is just sitting there, salivating.
Yeah. Well, and earlier in the episode as well, they also had some shots of him jogging and using the Peloton. Whoa. Very excited about Peloton, apparently. The Peloton bike, as it's like, okay, like they're obviously the product placement there. Yeah. Like you said, the shots of the shower, it's very, very natural and normal. And she absolutely loved him. I did find it funny before they went on that date. Brie was saying in one of her voiceovers, she's like, her quote was, I wrote this down to make sure I got it exactly. I think it'll be fun. She thought the date was going to be fun. Very, very interesting. And then when they saw those, the ATV, she goes, are we going to be driving those? Yeah. Yes, you are going to be driving those. So when that date started, I actually thought it was a little bit, it was a little rough. Like you said, it wasn't, the chemistry wasn't quite there, wasn't quite oozing out of the screen. But then as it continued, it got a little bit stronger, I thought.
Yeah, it sure did. And then they were sitting in the hot tub. And this actually happened a couple times in this episode where Brie said, I think I would like a kiss. Now, she didn't say this directly to Matt. A little later in the episode, Queen Victoria, who we will discuss at length throughout episode 7 right here on the Bros Ceremony. You know, she's a different story in herself. But Brie and Matt, they get the kiss. It was a great kiss. They're in the hot tub. And then it cuts back to Victoria in the house. And she says, I'm already sick of you guys. It's day one. What?
Yeah. There's been a lot of speculation online from people mentioning the fact that she possibly is a paid actress. Do you think it's a possibility, young Adam?
I would like to credit our maybe future Bachelor insider Taylor for commenting this on one of our posts. I honestly hadn't thought of this. I hadn't done any research on it. I don't want to in terms of maybe seeing a spoiler or 7, right. But Taylor brought this up on our Bros Ceremony Instagram account, got a lot of reaction and feedback from other fans of the show. What do you think?
I don't think she is. I'll go into the reasons why I think she is acting the way she is a little bit later as we discuss it ad nauseum about her. But as far as actually being an actress, I don't think so. I really hope so, though. That'd be awesome. And if she is, she's doing one hell of a job because because I watched the episode a few days later because I had to finish Line of Duty, by the way, amazing show on Netflix. Everyone was texting me that some really offside things about Victoria. They do not like her at all. And as I ranted last episode, I try to appeal to them. That's exactly why you do want her to stay and you should love her, even though, yes, obviously I agree she's not a great person. So no, I don't think she's an actress.
Yeah, I don't think if she is and they hired her on, I mean, congrats. It would be like it'd be like the Joe Schmo show almost. Sort of, but not really, but kind of, but not really, you know?
I hear you. Yeah.
So as they go on, they cut back to Matt and Brie having a little sit down dinner, lots in common, yada, yada. She gets a rose. And then Matt says the line that we mentioned off the top of the show, I have 10 toes down throughout this entire experience. I'm going to say that ad nauseum. I have to take your expression there. But then it got kind of funny. I mentioned they're in a bubble because it's COVID and that's not going away anytime soon.
No.
So the ladies are all hanging out in the common area of their chalet or hotel, or wherever they're staying, and they see fireworks. They hear fireworks and they think, oh my God, what's going to be happening? You know what they're doing? They're totally making out under the fireworks. And what do? Cut right to it.
Did you notice or happen to think that it was weird about those fireworks? They reacted, some of those women, like they'd never seen fireworks in their life. Like this was an all new brand new experience for them. That it was like the craziest thing of all time. I'm sure they're probably coached to do that or whatever is my guess. But like I was laughing at that because it was like you do know those. That's fireworks. That's what they do. They make beautiful colors and they go crazy. It's very loud sometimes. And I just thought it was really funny. They reacted as if they'd never seen it before, and maybe they haven't. I don't know.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I can't remember the last time I've seen fireworks in person. It's been quite a while.
Ooh, no Canada Days or anything like that.
Maybe a couple of years ago. I mean, typically on Canada Day, I'm golfing and then hanging out. I'm not the biggest firework guy. I don't know. You look at lights. It's great. Whatever. Now, having said that, I've never smooched under fireworks. Have you?
No, no. Oh man, sadly not.
That took a turn.
Yeah. No. You could probably replace fireworks with any other, and it would probably be no. No. Not really, no. So yeah, no. Yeah, no. It was very, very funny. Their their reactions to that, like it was just the coolest and most craziest thing of all time. So I thought it was pretty funny.
Well, fireworks aside, let's get back to the other ladies. And as this was going on, the next date card showed up, and one of the ladies went to go read it. And before that, Queen Victoria said, I would rather wait for a one-on-one. And what did Toronto's own Alana say to the camera? Of course, not to her. Stop being an idiot.
Correction. She went full on Canadian. She said, sorry. Stop being an idiot, which I thought I was dying laughing at, because again, totally just like the stereotypical Canadian. Sorry, like she, of course, most people were thinking much stronger words than idiot about Victoria there, but because she's so nice, because she's Canadian, Alana. Sorry, stop being an idiot. I thought that was outstanding, awesome comment.
She probably went to go play a game of lacrosse afterwards, and maybe have, a beaver tail and any other Canadian stereotypes, eh? But no, Alana, she's great. She's one of 2 Canadians on this season. Of course, we are here in the Toronto area recording this, so we are obviously huge fans of Alana and Serena. So I mentioned drama and Victoria. Drama sort of follows her around, and she sort of causes drama herself. At this point, she starts going off on the group, like sort of randomly, including Marylynn. And this is a little teaser for the later on in the episode. And then Victoria decides to go sleep on the couch. Like, what was that all about?
Obviously, as I said, going into this season, the last episode of the Bro ceremony, she's completely just totally saying, I am the queen, and she's actually living up to her moniker and all that stuff. So, I mean, like she said, a queen has to have its own, has to have her own bed or whatever she said, something like that. So she's at this point, she's just obviously just trying to very much so, prove that she is the queen type thing. So I think it was obviously, even though she might not be an actress, that certainly was an act, what she was doing there.
And of course, The Bachelor being the brilliant show that it is, 18 women on the group date. They read through all the names. And of course, the last name read is Victoria.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I guess it would have been even better if she, I wish she'd gotten the one-on-one date, because that would have been even better, because then they already were mad at her. That would have been, I hope that she does get a one-on-one date here in the future. That would be amazing.
It would be scintillating to see a one-on-one with Queen Victoria and Matt James, that's for sure. So I mentioned 18 women. They go on the group date. Unfortunately, there's some rain coming down, and the ladies walk in and they see Matt and Franco, the photographer. Matt posing for some images, similar looking that we're looking right now, some sharp suits on, and the ladies go nuts. And Matt says, he said this a couple of times now, but this is the second time or third time he said it, I can see my wife in this room. Good. So far, so good. And this date at the outset anyway, it looked like it was going to be a nice little little photo op, right?
Yeah. By the way, that photographer, what was his name again?
Franco.
That guy just seemed like the coolest dude. Like, he seemed like he'd be so funny to hang out with. No question about that. Yeah, everything was going according to plan. They all had their pictures. It was all good. Of course, then everything comes back to Queen Victoria. We could talk about all these other women, and we will a little bit, but like every single scenario in this episode, always everything pointed back to Queen Victoria. Yeah, in the middle of all that, awkwardly, of course, throwing herself into it. Hey, I want pictures. Give me pictures, which I guess was smart, because as we know, not every woman got to have wedding photos with Matt there. So I guess she was onto something there, Victoria.
She was onto something, and it was a bold move what she did, stepping in, having Matt take off her garter belt, and then just goes in for the spicy makeout. Like, there was tongue on tongue in that one.
Yeah.
Not that we're Kiss analysts here, but I'm just saying.
I mean, was it passionate? Did you feel a smoldering chemistry there? Good word. There between the two of them, or it did seem like he seems so far, Matt, that he kind of is invested in Victoria a little bit here.
So far, I have to agree with you. So far, so good. I mean, it would be tough being in his shoes, because obviously the way they're portraying her on the show is that she's this drama queen and doing this, that, and Matt's not seeing any of this.
Yeah,
Matt's
and-
just being Matt.
Well, yeah, it would be very difficult to know which side of the story is correct. And obviously, I'm sure the producers are, hey, keep her in the show, keep her in the show. But we mentioned this off the top, the first episode, of this season. Matt James, honestly, I know it's only 2 episodes in, and it's revisionist history, and I haven't seen every season of the show. Is he maybe the coolest bachelor ever? Like, he just seemed like a really freaking cool dude, and I want to have a beer with him.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great
Socially
guy to have.
distant, of course.
Oh, of course, a socially distanced beer. Maybe have him on the Bros Ceremony podcast. Ask about his experience. He played some football back in the day. Now, I mentioned last episode as well. Is Matt 6'7"? And doing some research, one source said he was 6'4". Another one of my many sources says he's 6'5".
Whoa.
So
Huge difference. Whoa.
not
Whoa.
sure.
You
In
gotta
any case,
cut one of those sources out right away, because if they're lying to you, that is not cool, Adam, because it's good to be honest.
I will delete out of my phone right now that source. They are now gone. But Matt, so far so good. I've only heard positive response. I've seen a lot of stuff on social media, people just thinking he's incredible and he's great and he's super nice and kind. And I'm looking forward to seeing this rest of the season. And we mentioned in episode 6 of the Bro Ceremony as well, the immediate bromance between Matt and Uncle Chris Harrison. And, why not? The guy's a gem. He's a beauty. As Blake Moyne said on our show, Chris Harrison is a beauty. But whenever Chris Harrison shows up, something is going to happen. And Michael, something happened during this date.
Yeah. Then they what did they have? They had like a slime paint, not paintball, but it was basically
they were playing Capture the Heart.
Yes, that's right. Capture the Heart or whatever. And Mari, I know, was amazing in that. She won the game for her team, including Queen Victoria on that one. And things got a little bit messy on that one. That was an interesting one. That was pretty good, because I thought when they said something like, "Will you fight for my heart or fight for my love?" or whatever the date card or thing. Adam, I'm so excited to be doing this podcast. That is twice now that I have a little frog in my throat. So
wow, ribbit.
I think I'm just
flabbergasted.
Your presence just is just like, oh my goodness. Well, I'm in awe of you, Adam. You're so good. But yeah, no, that day was pretty interesting. I thought it was going to be them like boxing or something like that, because I think in the season preview they show at some point there is some sort of boxing match or whatever. I was not expecting this date, however.
It was pretty cool to see, the Capture the Heart, and they had different paint and different ornaments, and there were a couple dog piles. But as Uncle Chris Harrison did say, Matt is looking for a woman who will truly fight for him. So, eventually the red team won the Capture the Heart game, but Mari was named the MVP, most valuable bride. I thought that was quite witty. And she was allowed to go to the after party, even in a losing cause. I think that was a nice little touch.
Oh, see, Adam, I oftentimes throughout these episodes, I will be writing stuff down on my phone or on the computer, just so I have some good notes to talk about here. Mm-hmm. And I actually did not notice that she wasn't part of the winning team.
No.
It must have, like, I try this. I make sure I always rewind. I'm like, I don't want to miss anything. If I'm writing something down, of course, I'm distracted. I'm not watching the TV. I thought for sure that she'd won. I had no idea. So she got to go. You would have thought that would have been a bigger controversy amongst the women that she got to go, despite losing.
Yeah,
are you sure?
I am 1,000,000% sure. Now, having said that, as we both know, sometimes my memory gets a little, with the Ileana remark from last week, we had to play back the PVR and find out that I was horribly mistaken. But I am sure that Mari was on the losing team, won in a losing cause. So, they go back and have their little after party, and Matt talks to Lauren, the 29-year-old corporate attorney. Wow. The 29-year-old attorney who they didn't spend a lot of time together on opening night, but they obviously have this great chemistry. And then, he talks to a bunch of others, but the whole season thus far, it's all about Queen Victoria. And Matt says to Victoria, I want you to own who you are because it's beautiful. Good for Victoria.
That's really good. And just to put a bow on that date that you were talking about, my favorite line of the season thus far came from Victoria. She said something along the lines of, she goes, my team is a bunch of queens. The other guys are a bunch of gestures. She meant to say they're a bunch of jesters. Did you notice that?
I didn't know.
My team's a bunch of queens. They're a bunch of gestures. She said, not jesters, gestures. I thought that was just amazing. It's like, and there's another comment which we'll save here in a little bit that Queen Victoria said that was completely wrong, which was awesome. So I love these horribly wrong expressions that she's saying. I hope she should own that and be herself, as you said, as Matt said as well. And I hope she says many, many more of these because they're fantastic. But you know what? Yeah, she, to her credit, I guess, if this actually is herself and she's not an actress, you may not like it, and most people don't, but I guess she is authentically herself.
That's the important thing. She's authentically herself. She's not BSing anyone. We've seen people in the past put on a bit of a character, but unless she is a paid actress, of course, then maybe she is just totally fooling the world right now. But I guess we'll see. And now before Matt went to go back to the other ladies, Victoria says, "Can I have a kiss before we go?" I'm not too sure about this play. I think you just go for it. I don't think you ask for it. You just go for it. What do you think? I'm
well, knowing who she is, I'm surprised that she didn't just go for it. Very, very surprising. But she did mention, I want to make a little bit of a point. Like, she did mention how she's a bit of she didn't say the word vulnerable, but she has insecurities and stuff like that, which, as we've seen, obviously, in the first 2 episodes, she's extremely bossy and very much arrogant and a bully, as we see with Marylynn. But I do say, I really do believe, if she isn't an actress, that this whole front that she has, that she's like the strong, powerful woman who's so got it together, and I don't care about these women. I'm here for Matt. I'm awesome. I'm the queen. It's all, again, she's not an actress, but it's all an act, because I really do believe deep down, as she said, there's some a lot of insecurities with Victoria. I think like you're projecting that you are this awesome image for the world to see, when in reality, I honestly think that she's deeply upset and about her life or whatever. Like, I'm not a psychologist, obviously, or whatever, but it just seems to me that she's trying to make it seem like she's awesome, when in reality, she knows she's not awesome at all.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk at length about how you're really not a psychologist. I thought this whole time that you were a psychologist.
I actually am, but I'm making you think I'm not. So then you're able to open up more with me, and you're able to be more vulnerable with me.
By the way, and we'll get into this now, the amount of, vulnerable walls down, like I want to have a conversation with any of the contestants, some of the producers, think like, why that word? Because clearly you don't just, Michael, I've really enjoyed this journey on the bro ceremony thus far, but I don't say that organically. It just sort of, I'm reading a script. Like,
well, maybe you should say that organically, Adam. I'm offended you haven't said that more during this bro ceremony.
Yeah, I'll try to be a little more organic and vulnerable towards you. So they have this group date. Lauren gets the rose. And any thoughts on the corporate attorney Lauren getting the rose?
I thought she's seemed pretty interesting or whatever. Like, they seem to be vibing a little bit. I didn't get massive, as I mentioned earlier, smoldering chemistry coming from them. I thought she seemed really, really cool, and definitely was very much together. Like, that's a woman, unlike Victoria, who, in my estimation, of course, I've only seen 2 episodes of her on TV, but she seems that to put together, happy with herself, has a good life, like good to go. Whereas, like I said, Victoria, I think she knows, unfortunately, she wants to be that way, but that's why she's lashing out on all these people, because she wants to be sort of like them. Because at least I know it's an edited. It's a very hard word to say, edited.
It is
edited show, but it doesn't. It seemed like I always want to call her Marylynn. It was not being a bully in any way, shape, or form to Victoria at all. So to answer your question, I thought Lauren was pretty good, but I don't think she'll be a winner, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was some good chemistry, but I don't think she's going all the way. Someone who might be going all the way.
Good
Sarah.
segue, Adam. Good segue. You're vulnerable.
My walls are incredibly down right now. So while this group date's happening, knock, 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 knock. Someone walks in, another date card. There's a couple ladies there sitting around. Sarah's name is called, and the date card says, "The sky is the limit for us." First of all, before we discuss that plane they were riding in, do you think Uncle Harrison writes these himself? Is it a producer? Is it Matt? Is it you? Who is it?
Is absolutely not Uncle Harrison. Is absolutely not Matt. It is 1,000,000% a producer. Guaranteed, I would say. Guaranteed. Although it would be funny to see because they're always so perfectly crafted. It'd be awesome if it actually was the Bachelor doing those, and his sayings were like. It'd be awesome if Matt was essentially a Victoria in terms of mixed metaphors and similes, and like he's I don't know, I'm trying to like say he's like talking about basketball, and he's, "Are you the one for me?" And he wait, what? For is a golf expression. It'd be awesome if he completely mixed up metaphors. That'd be amazing. But no, it's definitely a producer.
So four of the women don't go on a date, which a lot of women, so, they've got to make up their time in the cocktail party before the rose ceremony. But let's talk about this Sarah and Matt date a little bit. They go on this plane, which is a little on the small side, but again, because they're in this bubble, they're flying over, they're waving to the girls sitting there, like just rubbing salt in the wound, aren't you?
Yeah, and the comment they said in the plane where it was like, if we go down together, I could live with that, or some expression like that, or whatever, a cutesy thing about it. Well, technically, unfortunately, probably couldn't live with that, but that's why I was like, that seems like a kind of a unfortunately dark comment of him to make. But their walls were absolutely down during that, and Sarah just seems really, really great, really a cool girl. By the way, I failed to mention this last episode, and I think I failed to mention this, and I'm deeply sorry and offended for those watching this bro ceremony. Sarah, the whole time I'm like, she reminds me of someone. Who the hell does she remind me of? It finally dawned on me, and a couple people told me this too. Alexis from Schitt's Creek. The daughter from Schitt's Creek.
Wow, that's a good one.
I meant to say that last episode. I'm almost certain I didn't, and I deeply, deeply regretful that my walls weren't down enough to tell you guys that.
That is a really good. Are they related? Are they twins?
There you go. Yep. It's pretty crazy. Michael,
week in, week out, you bring the heat here to the bros ceremony, and that's just another shining example.
Just the heat. Oh no, that's you. You bring that. So really good date though, and she did open up to him or whatever about her family life, and obviously at first she held back about her dad. She's like, "Oh, I'm really close with him," and it was like, obviously it's clearly she has something to say. I thought it was going to be like, I was lying. My dad actually isn't in the picture or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. But then she told the story about how her dad has Lou Gehrig's disease, and oh my god, I almost like shed a tear. Like seriously, like that's just so oh, man. It's
good for her for honestly here being vulnerable and being honest, because that's a situation that you wish no one upon. And it seems, she's quit her job as a broadcast journalist and obviously a bright future in that field. And I'm sure hopefully one day she can get back into that field, but good for her for being with her family, because that's something that would just be an awful thing to live with. And, all the best to Sarah and her family through this time. And hopefully her father can, stay around and watch her daughter on The Bachelor and have a smile on his face. No way really to segue from that. So it's a date. They have a good time. A good conversation, an honest conversation, rose exchanged. And then the drama returns. The cocktail party, everyone's getting ready. And this is when Marylynn and Victoria sort of start going at each other, and they don't want to, and they're sort of mouthing off to Matt. And it got really strange when they weren't sitting on the same couch. It was just a whole weird thing.
Well, you said that they're because Marylynn, I almost felt like she wasn't even defending herself super well, in terms of like she wasn't arguing her point really, really strongly, because that's not her, because she's clearly not a bully. So the whole time with all this, Queen Victoria is awesome, great TV, hilarious that she's like all this. it started to veer into when they had that confrontation. It started to veer into, okay, this is going from great TV, this is hilarious, to like, I'm not totally comfortable with this anymore. Like the fact that Queen Victoria was such a bully there, clearly, obviously, it was like, yikes. I'm actually starting. There was a moment there for a while. I was like, this isn't quite so good. By the way, I'm no one to judge about different things or whatever, but I'm quite confident in saying this. I am pretty certain almost everyone would agree, especially because it was on Queen Victoria, who a lot of people don't like. Her dress during that confrontation, not so good. Not so good at all.
Not her finest hour in the attire department. I have to agree. And I have to agree on your previous point as well. Like, it was cringeworthy. It was tough to watch. And there's, I'm curious to where it goes from here. I think, I'm not really sure what else I have to say about the argument. It's too bad. Obviously the show is edited down, and I'm sure there was a lot more, banter and back and forth going on between the two. But I guess we'll see what happens there. So, the ladies all gather around for the rose ceremony. So Sarah has a rose, but you can tell she's not feeling comfortable. And then she doesn't go down, but she almost goes down.
Super weird. You have a rose already.
Yeah.
So clearly you're not in jeopardy of leaving the show. You've been on TV, as we mentioned. She's a broadcast journalist, so it's not like she's not used to these cameras. So it's like, yeah, she goes down. It's like, wait, that was super weird. What? It was just completely stunning. And obviously that's to be continued for the next episode. They didn't, however, have a shot of an ambulance. In the season preview, they had a shot of an ambulance. I thought for sure that would have involved Sarah there. But in the preview anyway, they didn't show that ambulance, which was stunning. So obviously that fake ambulance is going to be needed for some other instance, I'm sure.
Now, well, let me just stop you there for a second. I thought you had said that you don't watch the previews.
I don't watch in the episode, like when the episode starts, when they're like, coming up this episode. No. I don't want to watch any of that. But for the season preview, I figured for this bro ceremony, it would be negligent of my job to not at least know what is going on to a little bit, to a point. Not to say full on spoilers, obviously, but I would not be doing my job, and I might fully be down at them without watching that. Also, by the way, I want to make one more remark about that date. The fight between Victoria and Marylynn.
Please.
I don't know if you saw this one as well. This is the second of the two horribly wrong metaphors that she said. That was so funny, Victoria. She goes, we just don't get along well together, like oil and vinegar. Oh my God. It's oil and water, Victoria. It's oil and water, not oil and vinegar. Oh my God, that was just amazing. She's great for that stuff, man. That's why she's good TV. Those are wrong expressions. I hope she says a plethora, good word, of those going forward, because that's outstanding. You like that word?
Emphasis on the wrong syllable. Isn't it plethora?
You could say both ways.
I've never heard plethora before.
Well, Adam, you're not as in tune with the world as I am, as it were.
That's very true. You're more wise than me. You have more life experience than me. Sorry, that was kind of rude, actually.
Are you saying I'm an old man? Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that. So okay. So where do you think we go from here? I mean, obviously, are we heading towards a 2-on-1 between Victoria and Marylynn? Where do you think we go starting off in tonight's episode? Hopefully Sarah's okay, but from there, Queen Victoria versus Marylynn, mano y mano. What happens next?
Well, I mean, obviously we do, anyone who watched the show last week, they saw the preview for this episode. Spoiler alert, Queen Victoria is still in the show. But Marylynn, that would be good TV, actually, if she did happen to lose here and it was like, bye-bye. But knowing the producers, of course, no chance that's going to happen. They're obviously, like you said, probably going to go on a 2-on-1 date there eventually. That's what it has to be. I think it has to be a 2-on-1 date between the two of them at some point, because it's just too good a TV.
It all gets going tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on City, ABC, or wherever you can find The Bachelor, wherever you are watching in your local market. Now, you and I, we're also in a bit of a Bachelor pool. with 55 or so people. I want to thank our good friend Kelly for setting this up. And you have a bit of an update, shall I say?
In case you guys thought for some reason, I know I've ranted about how I hate spoilers so much. In case you, the viewers, thought that we were cheating somehow, or we had some extra intel, or that we, like I said, we obviously looked at spoilers for the season. Just in case you thought that, we are here to tell you and inform you that is absolutely not the case at all. Because of 55 people in this pool, I'm 45th in the pool, which is dreadful enough as it is. And Adam, would you like to explain to the viewers where you are ranked in that pool?
You know what? I actually don't know because I forgot to put my picks in before the last episode. I'm going to guess I'm DFL.
I think I'm not 100%. I think the picks carry over. If you didn't update them, I'm pretty sure you're 53rd of 55.
Not last. That's not last.
So in case, like I said, you guys for some reason thought maybe we had some sort of spoiler season or whatever. I ruined a few Survivor seasons way back in the day. Season 2, I looked at the spoilers and it was like, oh my God.
Why would you do that?
Because there was a website, Young Adam, this is before your time, 20 years ago, when Survivor, the website was called Survivor Sucks, and they try to find out season 1 who was gone in each week. And they weren't correct most of the time. So for season 2, they tried doing that for the Australian Outback, and they actually did nail all the people who are gone. Like they had their intel, it was amazing. But no, there's no way they would actually know these answers. There's no way they would be right. This is just for entertainment purposes. They actually were right. So it completely ruined the season. So never again, I said, never again will I ruin seasons for myself like that.
You just hate to see that. Before you wrap, a couple more housekeeping things, shall we say. Who are the ladies? You got a bonus lady in our, mano a mano. How are you going to change? Are you going to reassess? Or are you going to stick with the picks that you have?
You got to stick with the picks you have. You can't be changing this to the game. I picked Sarah. Sarah was my bonus pick. She's looking absolutely fantastic to do really well in the season. Abigail, just the sweetest, cutest. Abigail is just Adam. I'm vulnerable I think she's just awesome. And then Maggie was the other one. She hasn't done a whole lot through 2 episodes. So she seemed nice. She seemed cool, but she hasn't done a whole lot, which makes me think she probably doesn't go very, very far in the season.
But has a fascinating backstory, as we discussed at length in our extravaganza preview edition for the season. As for me, I have Rachel. Rachel's doing some great things so far. She's not getting in any drama. Ileana's my wild card. Yes, she had the balls remark when they met. But looking forward to seeing what Rachel and Ileana are bringing to the table as the season continues. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, the 3rd episode of this season of The Bachelor. Before we go, though, Michael, as always, you are the host of the H-Dog Pod. Fill our listeners and viewers and everyone tuning in from coast to coast on who is coming up next on the H-Dog Pod.
This actually will be the 1-year anniversary. I know usually I always rant on that podcast. Milestones are pointless or stupid. Who cares about them? Blah, blah, blah. This guy played his 600th NHL game. Who cares? It's just a round number. But 1-year anniversary is pretty cool. It'll be episode 52. So pretty much literally 1 episode a week for a year. That's, you know what? I got to actually pat myself in the back a little bit on that. That's actually pretty good. So Rishi Lal, a former colleague of mine at TSM, haven't talked to him in a decade. Great, awesome guy. He was so funny and so unique and original. This guy was amazing. He's going to be on the podcast. Haven't talked to him, like I said, in almost a decade, other than a few texts here and there. So excited to have him on because they're holla, like that was his catchphrase. He would always say that, and everyone, like, honestly, he's in the Mount Rushmore, TSN favorites of all time for people who work there, because absolutely everyone loved him so much. So he's going to be on this podcast, and I can't wait to eviscerate, good word, him for liking the Raiders and the Falcons. You can't like 2 teams. That is absolutely so stupid. You cannot love 2 teams. That is ridiculous. I will absolutely be ripping him into him for that. That's so stupid.
Looking forward to tuning into that. You can find the H-Dog Pod on iTunes or anywhere you find your favorite podcast on any of those platforms. Well, Michael, we're now 7 episodes into the Bros Ceremony. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and we have some exciting stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. We're now 7 episodes in on the Bro Ceremony podcast. For Michael the Hound Dog Harrison, I'm Adam Scully. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on the Bro Ceremony.